Hello, everybody. Welcome back to USC Coliseum Chronicles Live. I am Terrence Holton, joined by Casey Kasliner. And Casey, the biggest game of the year so far. It's been on my calendar since the start of the year. But Michigan is this weekend. We'll talk about Michigan this weekend. But let's jump into what are you looking forward to specifically in this game?
Yeah, I think USC is going to be a lot more expecting of what they're going to see, right? I think that like when you go into Illinois on the road and you're playing against an Illinois team that just lost by 50 points, you don't really know what you're going to expect, especially with your best defensive player arguably injured. Whereas with Michigan, they're a much more one-sided team. They run the ball a lot. Uh, I wouldn't say they're a one-trick pony. Like they've won games for a reason. They're ranked for a reason pretty highly. But at the same time, if you can stop their run game, which is a tall ask of USC, I mean, Justice Haynes is one of the best running backs in the country. I think you could make the case that he's the best, but I think there's an argument to be made. Bryce Underwood is a very good mobile quarterback. He's young, though, and playing on the road for young quarterbacks can be really difficult. So I think you know what you're getting out of Michigan. I will say their defense has been up and down. Their pass defense is not very good. Their run defense has been good. I think we'd expect that out of a team that prides itself in having a really good front seven. But how about you?
Yeah, it's a lot of what you mentioned. It's can USC shut down the run? Are they going to be able to even I'm not even going to say shut down because let's be honest, that's not going to happen. It is can they slow down the run?
Yeah.
That is what needs to happen. That is what I am looking forward to because let's be real, that defensive line performance against Illinois, I'm just going to say it was atrocious. It was not good at all. They couldn't get any push and they weren't really stopping the run, doing anything really special.
Yeah, and I think too, like you know, you don't have Killian O'Connor. We don't know about Elijah Page yet.
Mm-hmm.
That is putting a lot of trust in John Ray Reed, who was flat out terrible against Illinois. And Lincoln Riley today on Trojans Live said, oh, John Ray's had a lot of reps. Like, and I'm thinking, okay, in spring camp, that doesn't matter. Like, I just when you're costing USC the game, like I'm just going to tell it how it is.
Yeah, no, that penalty cost them the game.
Yeah, and some of his bad snaps took a lot of time away from Mayava. So, I think the O-line, and I appreciate the comment here. I mean, I don't know if they're cooked, but like it is going to be.
I'm not going to say that. This is still a game I have circled as USC is going to win it.
Yeah.
I do think they are a better team. I think Bryce Underwood could struggle. That being said, it's not really a road advantage. Let's just say it how it is. It's not a road advantage. Yeah. The game is sold out. And I would say, if I had to guess, 60-40 USC to Michigan.
I think it's fair. Yeah.
So it's not like going into Norman, Oklahoma. That being said, I do believe USC is going to win this. I think the offense is good enough where they can pull it out in a close one. I do. How do I say this? I'll bring this up a little bit later, but I do think they're going to win this. I'm feeling it's going to be a close one. Do you know what the line is? Because I love quizzing you on the line. Do you know what it is?
I know it changes. Last I checked, it was 1.5.
It's 2.5 for USC right now.
Okay, got it.
At least that's what I saw this morning. Let me go check. Let me verify that. That's what I saw this morning. I think that's fair. We thought going into that Illinois game that the line was too heavily in favor of USC. 6.5 was a crazy reaction to that Illinois game. Yep, -2.5 to USC right now. I don't know. It's gonna be tough because I do think USC is the better team on paper. And as just a team, I think they're better. But that being said, me personally, I do not trust Lincoln Riley. I just don't. This has heartbreaking loss written all over it.
It does. Like, I mean, the Michigan game last year, I know it's a completely different Michigan team. A team on the defensive side of the ball that was a lot better. Maybe offensively they're better now. I'd say it's hard to tell because they don't have Kalel Mullings now, but they do have Justice Haynes. So you can make the case for either. But on the road last year, I mean, we saw what USC wasn't able to do. We saw what they were able to do as well. And I mean, Jacoby Lane, I think he's practicing. I mean, I say I think because practice has been closed to the media for a while, so we don't know. If Jacoby Lane plays, I'm pretty confident that USC covers the spread. Maybe not by a whole lot, but I think, maybe they win by 6 points. I don't know. I think Jacoby Lane is a big X factor here.
Yeah, I've always said about 3 to 4 points. My score prediction earlier this year, I want to say was 31-24. I'm going to stick with 31-27. I think USC, they will be able to put up points. I don't know if they'll be able to stop the ball.
Yeah.
Easy. This is by far the best defense USC has played so far, though. The number 18 total defense the Michigan Wolverines have. Comparatively, I think the best defense they played before Michigan State, I want to say number 63. I can verify that in a second.
Yeah.
It is by far the best defense. How is USC's offense going to sustain their high volume? Because they are the number 2 total offense team, but how are they going to sustain that against Michigan's defensive front?
That's a good question. I mean, we say this every week, but you have to establish a run early, and you can't give the ball away. That sounds like a mundane, like obvious thing, but like Wayman Jordan has fumbled on 2 opening drives this year. Is he one of the most talented running backs in the Big Ten? Absolutely. But is he still learning? Also true. Like he needs to not fumble. Mayava throwing a pick, like I don't hate on him a whole lot for that because he still played a hell of a game against Illinois, and we talked about that last week. But I think you can't give the ball away. Don't be stupid on 4th down. Like I know Lincoln Riley likes going for it every time, but it's not going to work every time. Like especially against a Michigan defense. Be smart. USC's punter is good. I know we haven't seen him a whole lot. Sam Johnson, he's a national champion. So he's a decent punter. Like utilize him when you can. Play a little bit of chess. You're playing against Sharon Moore, right? Like I don't think he's that great of a coach.
I don't think he's a good coach at all. I think Hoagie's a better coach than him.
I think like Lincoln Riley, like we talk about him a whole lot, but if he can just out-coach the opponent, which we haven't seen him do a whole lot at USC, they're going to win. Like it's pretty simple. So, spread the ball around. Don't only target Mekhi Lemon because he's going to have a target on his back now. You got to spread the ball around and get Eli Sanders involved. Like he's a guy that we haven't seen a whole lot volume-wise. We've seen him like get some good runs and utilize his abilities. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, you can definitely bust those big runs out. Michigan, the number 59 pass defense. Their pass defense is not phenomenal. I think USC will be able to exploit that. And yes, Jeff, I totally agree. Well, I'm assuming that Riley will have the offense cooking because the offense has looked phenomenal. I don't have any complaints other than really Jean-Ray Reed on that offensive side so far. Mayava obviously throwing his first pick, and it was a bad one against Illinois. Let's just call it like it was. It was not great.
Yeah.
But the offense, other than these very few mistakes, truly has been fantastic. You get Lane back if they do. I'm not saying they do, but if they get Lane back, it's even better. You still have, in what I believe to be the best receiver duo in the country, Michigan's defensive backs, I do not think will be able to handle that.
Yeah, and USC, I mean, we talk about health. Like, I mean, I won't be at practice tomorrow, unfortunately, but I will be hearing about it. And I think we won't find anything out tomorrow in practice because it's a Tuesday. Wednesday, we might, and I will be there. I think, to your point, the defensive side of the ball, is Alex Graham going to come back? Because I think, was expected to play this upcoming week. You need depth on the secondary. Like, this team is not winning anything important with the current secondary.
Yeah, it does not matter how bad Michigan's pass offense is because it's not that good. Let's just be real about that. It is not. But if they can still throw the ball, then they're going to expose that. They very much are going to expose that.
Yeah, and Jeff's saying in the comments as well, needing Kamari at free safety.
Yes. Please take him out of the nickel. I am just begging. I know that there's not a lot of depth there. He's so much better at nickel than he is anywhere else on the field, or free safety than he is at nickel.
One thing that Lincoln Riley said in Trojans Live today is, I thought it was funny because I feel like it's a meme at this point. Maybe he's just giving into that. He said, we were about a snap away from beating Illinois. And I'm like thinking, okay, how many times are we going to hear that?
Casey, if I had a nickel for every single time I heard Lincoln Riley say, we're one play away from winning that game, I would be a millionaire. I would have paid off my USC tuition. That's how much money I would have made.
It's silly because and for the record, if you guys want to hear the full interview, USC just posted it 30 minutes ago. So there's some anecdotes in there, but I just think it's weird that he keeps saying that when it's a myth. Like you're not ever one play away. Like Seahawks, Patriots, Super Bowl, that's one play away, sure. But like, there are things you need to do in the second and third quarter that build up to the fourth quarter that he doesn't understand. Like that's how you become a good coach. Good coaches don't only coach in the first 3 quarters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff. We have a friend of ours, and there's lots of discourse about this on USC Twitter even still, because it basically happened with the Rams of, this is why you get the points. I don't care. Illinois was not able to stop the ball. I'm always going to be in favor of run the clock down. Don't give the other offense a chance because USC's defense isn't that good, or at least hasn't been so far.
Yeah, and I mean, they had 3 timeouts. Like,
yeah.
And nowadays, like, and I think Lincoln Riley talked about this maybe in the press conference or maybe in practice this past week. Like, field goal range is not a real thing anymore because kickers can hit from and I know it's college, but kickers can hit from 50 plus. And you're giving them 3 timeouts to basically get 40 yards? Like,
it showed how confident they were that they were going to get there because they ran the ball on the first play.
Yeah. I didn't even think
they knew they were going to get into field goal range.
Yeah. And I mean, not to mention David Olano, the kicker for Illinois, is one of the best kickers in the
He's great, yeah.
If not the best. So yeah, I think it's silly to harp on the one play away thing. And I think a lot of USC people go back to that because it's an easy excuse. Like, you know how good about yourself you feel, especially last year when you're like, man, we only lost to Michigan in the Big House by 3 points and we were 1 play away. Like, who cares? A loss is a loss.
Yeah, it does not matter. It's a loss. If the standard is we almost won, then we're no better than any. We're no better than any program. None.
Do you think USC's defense is soft? Because I know that's a narrative that's been going around for years.
We've been talking about that a lot. I'll answer that in a second because I do want to get to one of these things with Jeff. Because I do agree if they get a lead, they'll force Underwood to throw the ball. God, I don't want. How do I put this? I don't want the Michigan offense to ever have the ball. That's my feeling. I want USC to try and use as much time as possible. And you can't really do that because the passing offense is so good, which I very much understand. But I want Michigan to be limited with the ball in their hands because they're going to score. Just the number one thing I always think of with USC and not in losing in games where they had the ball with so much less time. Tulane USC 2023, Cotton Bowl. USC had time of possession. I want to say it was around 39 minutes and Tulane had about 20 because USC would march down methodically on offense and score whenever they needed to. Tulane, it would take them 3 plays. They're in the end zone. That was a little rant tangent. You were asking if the defensive soft. Kind of. I kind of think they do, and I think that's Lincoln Riley's fault because we consistently see this with his teams. We saw this last year, or not last year. We saw this with him at Oklahoma. We talked about this last week. His teams are consistently soft. And yes, Saturday is a pretty good measure if they truly are soft or not. I kind of think we saw it last week. I kind of think we saw that they're a kind of soft team because Illinois bullied them in the trenches. And that was a team, sure, they needed to get right, especially the offensive line. They gave up 7 sacks last week. USC going into last week was tied for number 1 in the country in sacks.
Yeah, they had
one. A very long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah, you're good. And I mean, they had 1 sack and it's from Christian Pierce. It's a little bit
luckier. It was a corner blitz.
To that point as well, Michigan has a very good offensive line. They're very experienced. I know they played this past weekend. I know Brady Norton was he's a Cal Poly transfer, was starting at right guard occasionally. I don't know about the injury status at the right guard is what I'm trying to say. Other than that, they have some grads. They have some big dudes on the line. USC's offensive line is banged up. So I think that's going to be a big indicator. You got to create holes for Wayman. You just have to. If you don't establish the run, especially if you don't have Jacoby, you're screwed. So yeah, and I think we know what's at stake too. If USC wins this game, they're ranked again. I think that's fair to say.
Yes, very much. Michigan is 13 in the country, 12, 14. What are they?
15.
15. Oh,
15 in the country. They'll have and now I know we were going to talk just briefly about UCLA beating Penn State, but I want to just bring it up because there's a lot of parity. There's likely
the Big Ten is open. Other than yeah, you know what? I'll stand by that because I do think the Big Ten is open. Ohio State, I think, is the best team. Oregon's win doesn't look good at all anymore. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And my question, I know imperialism in college football is sort of a myth. If does that mean UCLA is better than blah blah blah? That doesn't matter, right? But
a circle of suck type of thing.
Circle of suck, exactly. Imperialism, however you want to call it. Does that mean given? It's a 2-part question. is UCLA now a trap game, and is Oregon now a winnable game? Is my question. I know it's a very conspiracy coded question, but
no and no, because that's such a ridiculous, funny question. UCLA is not a trap game. Because it needs more than one game to really tell. Maybe they'll actually get cooking. Jeff Neuheiser is going to have them. Maybe he has them cooking, and he does worry me the future, because that guy is the future of UCLA football, and he seems competent, which is not good. That's not the Deshaun Foster.
If he can recruit, they might be cooking.
It might be a little concerning, but we don't need to worry about that because their AD is incompetent.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a trap game, because we're going to learn a lot more about them in these coming weeks. They still play a decently hard schedule, so who knows? But it's at home. It is kind of funny because neither team has won at home in so long.
Yeah.
So to answer the first part, no, it's not a trap game. Oregon, I still don't think is a winnable game.
Yeah, it's I mean, you brought up, and I liked your point, against Illinois, the intangibles, right? And I know that game is over a month away. But, I mean, playing at Autzen so tough, as we know. I mean, you got to take care of business against Michigan. If you can get back in the ranked conversation, create some buzz, which I think is a blessing and a curse. I feel like whenever USC is ranked, they start losing, which is funny. But I think we saw that last year too.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, we saw it last year, a little bit 2 years ago. I think if you can head into Oregon with one loss, like the CFP conversation is still going to be there. Pretty much. I mean, we say this is the most important game of the year. It's true, but that Notre Dame game is going to be very telling of what this team can do, just because they're going to be on the road. And I know that game is in just 2 weeks, I think. So, yeah, I think it's very weird, the Big Ten landscape we're in. And also, back to Ohio State, I know they've been killing teams, but their Texas win doesn't look as good now. I know it's an out-of-conference game, so it's never really affect the conference standings a whole lot. But
no, you're 100% correct. The Big Ten is very open. There is plenty of room for a USC, a Michigan, a even Illinois, because of not many conference losses. A Indiana, obviously. There's so much room for those teams to move up that this is such a must-win game.
Yeah. And you know what? This is kind of random, just a thought I had. I'm really glad that USC is not playing Washington, because I feel like that to me is a definition of a trap game if it was on the schedule. And they have a good loss, but that's a loss that and they're so good at home. They've lost one of their last 23 games at home. I'm just very glad and that is true. I think they had a 22-game win streak at home before Ohio State.
I don't think that's true, because they weren't particularly good last year.
I think they were undefeated at home last year.
We'll figure this out some other time.
I think it was 22, but I whatever. Anyways, I think the schedule this year, I mean, we last week talked about how hard the schedule is next year. This is the year the Big Ten.
I can't look forward. I just can't look at next year's schedule.
That's
Google it if you want to. It's
even with one loss, USC is still in the conversation because their schedule isn't. I mean, it's still hard. It's hard enough to where they could get in the CFP, but not too hard where they're not going to win any games. But also, the Big Ten and the country are kind of wide open. So
yes, it is. So this season, there really is not. There's, in my opinion, there's 3 top teams right now, and 2 of them, their wins don't look great. It's Oregon, Ohio State, Miami. Miami looks phenomenal, but maybe that's also says more about Notre Dame. Who knows? I'll get to that some other time, like next week. But I think Jeff is right here that this tells us if Illinois is a bad fluke or this team is headed for another bad season. I think I'm one of the more cynical USC fans or reporter, whatever you want to call it, because I've kind of been saying this team is going to go 8-4. That being said, I had this game as a win. I do think that they're going to win this game. That being said, like we said earlier in the stream, this has heartbreaking loss written all over it. I can just see it from what are we 6 days out? No, 5 days out. I just know it's coming. That is why I'm concerned.
I think, USC doesn't do well against the mobile quarterback usually. This year they've really only had, I'd say that Altmaier's decently mobile. but he ran for a touchdown against USC. They did okay against Childs, but that game was closer than we thought it was going to be. Last year, I know it's a different team. They didn't do particularly well against Maryland. They didn't really. I mean, Brosmer at at Minnesota was decently. The point I'm trying to make is they don't do the QB spy well whatsoever. That's what I worry about with Underwood. He's young. He's kind of ecstatic and exciting to watch. He's gonna take risks. He's a freshman. He's gonna. I mean, he doesn't have the confidence of like a Jade Mayava yet, but he's there to prove himself.
Yeah.
So he could run for 100 plus. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we have talked a lot about Michigan. We did talk about why USC could win earlier in the year, or in the stream, excuse me. Let's talk about why this. First off, here spelled Here, but that's Michigan for you. They can win this game because USC can win this game. That being said, because the offense is phenomenal. There is truly no other than the center because Killian O'Connor is hurt. Which is an important part. Don't get me wrong. There is no weak part of this offense. From running back depth to the 2 wide receivers to Mayava, even the tight ends, including them. They are all phenomenal. They very much can beat, even though Michigan has a great defense, it is a lot better on the run than it is on the pass. They have the 60th or 59th ranked pass defense in terms of yards given up, comparatively 18th defense overall. They are a lot better at the run than they are the pass. USC can throw the ball really well and has the best, like I've said, we're biased, but the best wide receiver duo in the country in Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that, I think we saw what happened when they didn't have Jacoby Lane, and the depth at that position it's okay. It's young. Like, it's Tanook Hines and DJ Jordan who kind of fill in that, and then maybe Jaden Richardson as well as sort of a veteran in that group. And I'm missing a Jay Fair, but like, it's not a group that like has a deep threat, really. I mean, I think Tanook Hines is the closest.
Or Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, not deep threats.
No, I'm saying outside of those two.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying the depth. I'm saying, like, if one of those guys goes down, which we saw.
Can you say something positive? We're trying to debate a Michigan fan here.
Oh, okay.
Why are we going to beat them? Why are we going to beat them? Talk about like defense or something.
Okay. Well, to your point, I think if you can, I mean, again, their offense is a 2-trick pony. We talked about their defense. It's Justice Haynes and it's Bryce Underwood. I am not appalled really a whole lot by Michigan's wide receivers. Samaj Morgan.
They're not good at all. They can't throw the ball.
It kind of reminds me of like USC last year if they didn't have Mekhi. Like, it's just a bunch of like decently good receivers. Frederick Moore, which I'm doing my prep for the game. Frederick Moore's not even on the roster right now. I don't know why that is, even though he's played, but that's a whole other story. Donovan McCulley, the Indiana transfer, like, he's okay. They don't have, I mean, he has size too.
They don't have an alpha receiver. They have a core of solid guys, nothing really else.
Yeah, and then Jordan Marshall's their backup running back. Maybe we could see.
Great. He's also great. He's a phenomenal running back too.
He's young too. Yeah, and so I think, it's one of those things. If you can beat their line of scrimmage, if you can just, you need to get in their backfield. Like, you just have to on defense because their O-line's good. They're going to utilize the run game. And I think for USC, if you sling it, like, Mayava hasn't really had the chance to. He's like, I think against Illinois, he had a few like 30+ yard touchdown throws. If you can just let him air out a little bit, like, I know he wants to go to the NFL. Like, you need to show the arm. I think if you let him air it out, you'll be fine. I really am not impressed by Michigan's secondary a whole lot.
No, yeah, I agree. Especially, it's so much worse than last year. You think Will Johnson was still playing by the time that USC got there. Well, I'm just kind of thinking about their offense now because Bryce Underwood is a good quarterback, and I do think he is going to be phenomenal. And I'm glad that USC does not play Michigan in the next 2 years, or at least not next year, but in 2 years, because I do think he's going to be phenomenal. He isn't elite yet. He's not. Let's just be real about that. He is a good player. He is still a freshman who makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And he is good. He is not phenomenal. He is not, I think, what Michigan fans say he is yet. He will be. I'm hyping him up. I think he's going to be really good. He's not there yet.
Yeah, and I think like his playing style in some ways is similar to Longstreet. I think they both can like navigate the pocket really well.
Yeah, but Underwood's a lot bigger.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the way they process the game is similar. The intangibles aren't the same at all, really. But like,
No.
and that's why
Longstreet's like 5'10".
Yeah, their physical traits are way different. But I like that style of QB in an offense where you kind of need to improvise, and I think both those guys do that well. We probably won't see a Longstreet at all, on Saturday, but I think it's cool to see both these teams have true freshman QBs that could both be first overall picks potentially at some point in a couple of years down the line. I want to ask you. I mean, we talked about the spread. Do you have a score prediction? Like, how high are we going here?
Yeah, I'm feeling 31-27. That's kind of what I've been thinking for a couple of weeks now. I think USC pulls it off. Like I said, candidate for heartbreaking loss. I do think USC wins. And this is where at least, I mean, I do think most of the fan base is still on, and whether it's delusion or an actual belief, if USC wins this game, the hype will never be higher. Well, that's not true. If they beat Notre Dame or Oregon, the hype, that's when it'll be the peak. But at this early season, it's a rebound that I think, let's be real, after the Illinois game, so many people jumped ship from USC. So many. And I'm not saying I did because I had that as a loss. I thought they were going to lose that game. I was not one of the people who said that they were going 10-2 and only losing to like Notre Dame, Oregon. I thought that they were going to lose that game to Illinois. Everyone called me crazy. If they lose this game, I have a lot more concerns because I did think that they were going to win this. And I still think Florida, as of right now, 7-5. I don't see a way they lose to Iowa, UCLA, or Northwestern. I mean, UCLA, who knows at this point. But I still think Florida 7-5. They win ceiling 9-3.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, I'd probably agree on both there. I think my score prediction like 34-28, so kind of in the same as you, in that same range. I will say right
here, sorry, just because the line is 100% correct. It's been 2 years. USC still mostly is getting pushed around. The O-line was not bad against Illinois at all, but Killian O'Connor now out. We'll see if they get Elijah Page back. D-line is definitely a concern, and Justice Haynes.
Yeah. And
I don't like thinking about Justice Haynes against that D-line.
What's that?
I don't like thinking about Justice Haynes against D-line. Especially this also, I'm rambling, so sorry, I'm just keep cutting you off. This speaks to an earlier point of putting Kamari Ramsey back in that free safety position because he's so good at run support.
Yeah, he is. I mean, his vision's so good. And I mean, that's what you need out of a guy like that. While we were thinking about all this, I was looking at some of the schedules for some of the teams that we kind of have our eyes on in regards to the Big Ten championship, if that's even still in play, which it still is, or the CFP. I mean, Penn State, I know they just had probably the worst loss out of any team in the country in terms of like sheer.
That was the worst loss of any team in the country. UCLA had not led for a second this year.
Yeah. They still have 2 games that if they win, they could still contend for. I mean, they're playing Ohio State and Indiana back-to-back weeks. So they're not out. I mean, I know it's a bad loss, but if they beat both those teams, I mean, come on. If they beat
Casey, I think I'm pulling up the schedule. Casey, I think Penn State. Why is it not showing the entire schedule? I think they win. Let me see. Sorry, keep talking.
I'm not saying like I think they will. I'm saying if they win out with wins on their resume against Ohio State and Indiana at 10-2, they're still in play.
They're going 8-4. They're losing both those games.
Okay, well, under that assumption, yeah. But I'm saying if they somehow lock in, and again, I don't want
James Franklin is a dead man walking, dude. I think that team is no longer behind him. I think he's getting fired as soon as they lose to Ohio State by 20 plus, which they will. Or maybe do they play Indiana second?
Yeah. Are they losing to Iowa though? Like seriously?
I won't even count it out. They just lost to UCLA. I mean,
Iowa played well against Indiana a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they did.
It's not great, like all things considered.
Nah, no. The Penn State. I'm gonna be honest. This might be crazy to keep USC in and cut Penn State, but Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, USC, Illinois, Michigan. Those are the contenders. I'm taking Penn State out. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to put Illinois above USC though, right?
Yeah. That wasn't in any particular order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I think the biggest thing that, like, both of us agree on, and I'm sure everyone in the comments does as well, you need a ranked win at some point. Like, it's really embarrassing that you don't have a ranked. I mean, I don't know. When's the last time LSU? Was that the last ranked win?
Yep.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
Does that count? Are we counting
A&M
that?
ranked? I don't think they were.
I don't know if I
think they were unranked by that time because they were 8-4 and lost 3 of their last 4 games. So I don't think so.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they were, it's a bowl game. Like, I don't know how much stock I'd put into that, even if it's technically a ranked win.
It's a bowl game.
Well, yeah, but it's all the backups playing.
But okay, regardless, it was at most LSU, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
No, LSU was ranked.
Yeah, it was LSU, and that was a great win, but that was over a year ago, well over a year ago. You have to, considering how disappointing I'm going to say the Big Ten has been, not in terms of excitement, but in terms of like these wins that we thought were good for some of these teams are not looking very good. You have to take care of business against the ranked teams and obviously against the unranked teams too, but it's all about portfolio right now. Like, that's the biggest thing because you're probably not going to win the conference.
No, I think if they had beaten Illinois, then they're very much in contention for real conference contender. I just don't really see a way that Oregon and Ohio State isn't the Big Ten championship because Oregon's schedule isn't very hard. They have Indiana at home. And I want to say we're the hardest. And then they play Washington. It's I think it's at Washington. Yeah, at Washington.
They always do, right?
What?
They always play Washington, right?
Yes, but I forget if it's at home or away. I think it's away. But it's
away last game of the season.
That's a hard one. At Washington's hard. But us, Washington, Indiana, not the most difficult.
Yeah.
Or not the most easy, I'll say. Definitely easier than honestly ours. And then there's Ohio State, who just has, well, they have to go to UCLA now, and who knows what happens there. But Michigan and Penn State for sure.
Well, I mean, if Oregon loses to Washington, like, that might jumble some stuff.
That opens things up. It depends on how USC does against Nebraska, Michigan, and Oregon, though.
Yeah, and I mean,
massive conference games.
Oregon's playing Indiana this week. I think it's pretty clear we're all going to root for Oregon there to keep them highly ranked. And because we don't control our own destiny, so to speak, against Indiana.
I guess so. Or, I mean, but maybe Indiana winning would make the Illinois loss look better.
If Indiana beats Oregon, they might go undefeated. They haven't they're playing Penn State, but like they have a pretty easy schedule. They're playing Michigan State, UCLA at home.
I don't think they're going to win that, though. I do think Oregon wins that one.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a real world here where Indiana goes 11-1 and has the Heisman. So
yep, you are right.
And I'm saying like USC doesn't control its destiny against Indiana because they don't play them. So you kind of need Indiana to lose. Like, you want Indiana to lose some of these games, even to Penn State. So if we're really talking Big Ten prowess, because like how many bids at this point? Because I asked you this last week. How many bids at this point does the Big Ten get? Because I know that 4 still probably.
I'm 4. Right now, if it had to be, if the CFP happened right now, it's, well, I could pull up the rankings to make sure, but Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, Michigan.
Yeah, and USC would be 2 away because of Illinois. Yeah. So you have that. I mean, you're right. It's a must-win game because if you beat Michigan, you take their spot. Illinois takes their spot, but Illinois has to play Ohio State this upcoming weekend. So you're rooting for Ohio State there, obviously. There's a lot of it's sort of imperialism bringing that back up again because you really do need Ohio State to win, but you want Ohio State to lose in general because you don't want them winning you don't want them just winning out because that'll make you
want USC to beat Michigan, but then Michigan to beat Ohio State, I think.
Mm-hmm. But you also don't want Illinois to get blown out.
We're getting really bogged down. We can't do these scenarios. We can't keep doing these scenarios
because then your loss looks worse against them. So you want Ohio State to beat Illinois by like a touchdown. Yeah, I don't know what the line is there. I'm guessing it's more than a touchdown. But it is in Champaign. Yeah. We'll see.
Which you said was a pretty decent environment.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, we'll see how the Buckeye fans travel. But other than that, though, Illinois has a cakewalk of a schedule. I mean, they do play Washington on the road.
Spread is Ohio State minus 14.5.
Okay, so
I do think that's just because their defense is so ridiculously good. I mean, they look phenomenal against Minnesota, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, and Julian Sayin aired it out a little bit more. That touchdown to Carnell Tate was really good this past weekend.
Jeremiah Smith looked phenomenal, yeah. But this is not an Ohio State podcast.
You're right.
Not an Ohio State show. I do think, and I'm going to trying to find a way to articulate this. USC needs to get out to an early lead. They need to punch Michigan in the mouth, because I think to Illinois, where they had a chance to punch him in the mouth early, Wayman Jordan fumbles, Illinois goes down the field and scores.
Yeah.
Michigan went down early to Wisconsin this week. They did.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin is a much worse team than USC. If the Trojans can get up by 2 touchdowns, I don't know, two touchdowns early, then
it's a lot to ask, but
then what? Sorry,
I think it's a little bit it's a lot to ask, considering
it is. It definitely is. Don't get me wrong. Get up 2 touchdowns. That'll make it really hard to come back. That being said, I think back to Penn State, they're up 20-7 at halftime, lose that game.
Yeah, and looking at this past, because you brought up the Wisconsin-Michigan game at the Big House, right? And a Wisconsin team that probably fair to say they're one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Like, they're in the bottom 3,
yes.
5.
Yeah.
But we talked about the secondary. Michigan still gave up almost 200 yards passing against Hunter Simmons.
They don't have a great pass defense. They just don't.
No. I will say Donovan McCulley had a very good receiving game for Michigan, 112 yards on only 6 receptions. He broke out for the big play. And he had a 29-yard touchdown. Haynes was incredible. Like, I feel my point. I'm making,
dude. Like, it's literally, I'm not going to ask the USC defense to stop him, because they're not going to. I just ask that they just even slow him down a little bit. Is it crazy to ask for less than 85 rushing yards for Justice Haynes?
Is
that all? Like, can I please just ask for that?
I mean, like, if we were wishing on our Christmas list, like, I would respect it, but is it going to actually happen? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Underwood's going to run for 50 plus, if I'm going to be completely real with you. It all hinges on the linebackers too. We didn't really talk about the linebackers, but I feel like they've been a little underwhelming outside of Gentry a bit. I mean,
we talked about this last week. I mean, we did. Like, Gentry's obviously the best.
Yeah, Gentry. I mean, I think he got injured in the Michigan game last year.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken. So he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. He wants to play a full one against the Wolves. But
I wouldn't call them the Wolves.
Whatever.
Still stupid.
Whatever. At the end of the day, and appreciate Dependent Fanatic for giving us his Michigan knowledge in here. I agree. I mean, I've done prep on their receivers just because I'm broadcasting the game, and it feels like McCulley's the top guy. And you also look at these guys' frames. I mean, McCulley is 6'5", 215 pounds. He's like a Deuce Robinson comp kind of in that way. But their receivers, other than that, are not huge. Like, they're not going to be going for the deep ball. They're going to be running a lot of these kind of slip screens and, stuff like that. So you got to limit the big play but also contain Underwood's running ability. And we saw what happened last year with Kalel Mullings. Like, that gives you USC fans PTSD at this point. So
yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, everything is concerning because Justice Haynes, he's such an explosive runner too. And it just feels like USC is going to give up these big plays. It just concerns me. That's the main thing that concerns me, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we knew, we talked about this game going into the year. We knew he was going to be good. I mean, Alabama transfer who hadn't really gotten a look yet. He was itching for an opportunity like this. So yeah, and I think, I mean, whether or not you agree with Dependent Fanatic's most recent comment in there.
I disagree with that because it went really well for Oklahoma, and sure, that's a great defense, but that's not true. I mean, you've played Oklahoma and Nebraska. I mean, those are the best 2 games, and Nebraska's a fine team who They beat the box score. It's 30-27. It was further than that. They beat them better than that.
Why is Michigan ranked so high? Like, I like it. It's good for us if we beat them, but like, why are they ranked so high?
Because they have one of the best losses in college football.
That's funny. I mean, so does Texas. So
yeah, but at least Michigan has a Power 5 win.
I guess. Yeah, you're right. I mean, granted, they have two against two unranked teams, but anyways, yeah. I mean, I think you'd agree Michigan's ranked too high. That's fair at 15?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Nebraska was going to beat them going into the year. Nebraska hasn't been that great. They've been fine.
I think Rayola's been good.
Yeah, Rayola's been pretty good. They've been very fine, though. They didn't play that well against not great Michigan State team. They're fine. Nebraska's fine. Oklahoma, I think, is good. Oklahoma's up to like number, what are they, 4, 6? I don't know if they're that good. They beat them now unranked Auburn team and Michigan. So,
and they have the Red River coming up this weekend. I mean, they play.
Texas sucks, dude. Texas sucks. So,
I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, is Mateer coming back though?
Not for a couple weeks.
They still should win that. So, man, talk about the parity. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm sure everyone in the comments can relate. Like going into the year, Texas, like Penn State. It's really.
I'm just like looking at dependents comments. What does this mean? Bryce had his career high versus the number 1 rush defense. No, he didn't. He was 9 for 24 with 140 yards and had -1 rushing yards. And that, of course, includes sacks. But what?
Who is the number 4 rushing defense?
Number 1, you mean?
Oh, number 1. Sorry.
I thought it was Oklahoma. It's definitely not Nebraska or Wisconsin. Look at it.
I mean, maybe he meant Haynes, but
must have meant Haynes. Yeah, must have meant Haynes.
Haynes had 125 yards in that game, so maybe that was his career high. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. Probably have like 140 against Nebraska.
That's what I thought. I don't know. Oh, he said Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin the number 1 rush defense right now?
Wisconsin number 6, so not bad, but maybe that's from last week. I mean, yeah, so that's solid. But I don't think they were the number 1. I don't think they were ever number 1. It is Wisconsin.
Bryce only had 12 yards rushing against Wisconsin.
I think he's talking about Justice.
Gotta
be.
Okay. Wait, but he only had 117 yards.
No, I don't know. His story's all over the place.
Correct.
Yeah, no, his career high was against New Mexico. Touchdowns, I don't know. You're all over the place, dependent. That's what happens when we don't have enough USC people.
If you're a USC fan, like comment a fight on.
We're flooded with a Michigan fan. The past 2 weeks, our main commenters have been Michigan fans. Jeff, that's our guy too. But we've had Michigan fans be our main commenters.
I respect them studying the opponent, but at the same time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this does make more sense. Okay. Yeah, shout out our goat, Jeff.
Shout out Jeff.
Missing Chris. Casey, we're coming up in 45 minutes here. We're going to wrap things up soon. Anyone else leave any comments down below for us to talk about? We're going to wrap things up here soon, though. I never asked you what your score prediction was, though.
I believe I said 34-28.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. Like it's a big game. So
shootout's a interesting wording for that, but I do think it'll be close at least.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all USC games are shootouts because the offense, to some extent, it's never like a 10-3.
I guess, yeah. I guess.
I mean, every game this year outside of the 2 like freebie games have been somewhat of a shootout. Like they've gotten it's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. Just frustrating to watch.
Yeah. No, for sure. Especially, I mean, don't want to harp on the past too much, but let's go beat Michigan. Come on.
Let's beat Michigan, and I still stand by 8-4. Lose to Michigan, we're going 7-5, guaranteed, in my opinion.
Season's over if you lose to Michigan. Like, actually over if you lose to Michigan. I'm like, there's no other way to.
Yeah, because you're not going to make the CFP and you're not going to make the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, if the season meaning something to you is like going to the Holiday Bowl or something, then that's another story.
And that sucks. That's what Lincoln Riley football has become at USC.
Yeah, but I think the big thing too, as we wrap up, Illinois is still a good loss. Like
it is, yeah, and it was a loss that was very close, came down to a game-winning field goal, but it felt like USC still should have won.
Yeah, and one last thing too, like Cody Kessler and Sean Cody and some of the other guys on the Trojans Live podcast today, we're talking about like what gets you into the CFP, and we live in a world now where like there's a lot of parity, and we also like a couple years ago, like it's not just about win-loss. Like it's so much more than that. Like your schedule. I mean, we saw with Florida State a couple of years ago, like who do you have at quarterback? Arguably, like there's just so many things. And like if Jaden Mayava is a Heisman contender, that might help. I'm not saying it will get them in, but like you never know.
Yeah, and I think Conquistador brings up a pretty good point here. No, there should not be excuses that we have to, like bring up every single week for the defense. So that it's so ridiculous. The standard is a standard. USC, we should be winning more than 7 or 6 games a year.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to my point, like 9-3, I know I said that I think before the season started, and people called me crazy for saying 9-3 could get you in, but I think it could. I think it could get you in. It could get you in now if you lose to the right teams and you win against the right teams.
I'm trying to think about it. You got to be. Lose to Notre Dame and
Oregon,
but
but Notre Dame doesn't look all that good now.
So maybe lose to Michigan, have Michigan basically win out, and lose to Oregon.
Yeah, but that's a big ask. I mean, a lot's in your hands there because they have to play Ohio State, which they beat them last year. So that basically no quarterback. So yeah.
Jeff, I think Notre Dame's a good team. I still don't think they're going to win that game. Just because they don't. Lincoln Riley can't coach on the road, and South Bend is an extremely hard place to play.
And the one thing I agree, I think the one thing I'll say about Notre Dame too is love or hate Notre Dame's scheduling and how they played so far. They were smart to schedule hard teams early because now the competition gets easier, right? Like last year, I know they went to the national championship, but it was sort of just easy the whole way through, and they didn't really garner respect. They're still ranked for a reason, right? They have 2 good losses by close margins. They lost by 3 to Miami, who's the number 2 team in the country, and then by 1 against A&M, the number 5 team in the country. Like they're still in play. It's
2 good losses, and that Miami loss looks better every single week.
And the A&M loss is looking better every week. I mean, we're being honest too. So, and they've taken care of business. I know their defense. The defense has gotten better, though. They've only given up 20 points the last 2 weeks combined. I know they did play Arkansas and Boise State.
Yeah, Arkansas, a dead man walking Sam Pittman, and Boise State, a much worse Boise State. So
yeah, talk about fall offs. I mean, yeah. That game though was I think tied at halftime, 7-7. I think. Oh no, I think it was.
I think they went up by halftime. I was watching. I think it was 14-7.
14. Still, I mean, you never know what can happen. That game was in South Bend too. I know they ended up winning by 3 touchdowns, but we'll see. And I think for Notre Dame, they're going to be the point I'm making with the easy schedule early on is you front load those games. It's easier from there. And they end their schedule with, I guess Syracuse isn't a free win necessarily, but Stanford,
dude, let's be real. 10-2 Notre Dame is getting in the playoffs.
100%.
They are. How many months? 2 months.
I mean,
just 2 months.
Yeah, because I mean, the G5 will probably be USF. Barring any changes. Are they deserving of, or Memphis actually? Memphis.
I mean, either one of those. Big one in the American this week on Friday. North Texas, South Florida. Oof.
Memphis is the only bowl eligible team in the country right now, I think, which is kind of a weird stat because it doesn't really matter a whole lot. But point still stands. I mean, they're 6-0, so they're bowl eligible. So if we're talking CFP, Memphis is a big one, but you're right. UNT is going to be a tough challenge for them. And I always forget, I should know this, but how does it work again with the G5 bid and the independent bid?
There is no independent bid. I mean, that's why Notre Dame has a less and less chance because there's no way for them to automatically get in.
It was a dumb question because there's only 2 independents in the country. But like what I meant is not Power 5 bid or Power 4 bid. So yeah.
I'm just telling you, just the way that the way that the playoff looks, and every single time Notre Dame didn't really have a good win last year either.
No.
I'm just telling you, a 10-2 Notre Dame with 2 good losses in A&M and Miami, whether they deserve it or not, is getting in the playoff.
And to that point, I mean, I hate to bring up Penn State again, but like the UCLA loss reminds me of the NIU loss for Notre Dame last year. I know they have 2 losses.
Really funny.
But like Penn State's still in. I'm sorry.
They're not. No, I'm telling you, it's the same thing as like Sam Pittman. It's dead man walking, dude. They are not. James Franklin is done.
What's their recruiting? Like, I bet it's really good. They're going to lose a whole lot of guys. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows?
Shout out to former Trojan Kyron Hudson, though. He had a cool touchdown last week against UCLA. So he's still torching the Bruins some way or another.
Yes. No, this isn't true anymore because the playoff, it's no longer the top 4 conferences just automatically get a bid.
It's just seeding now based on how good you are, right? So
because they had Boise State, I think. Was it Boise State? Yeah, Boise State was a bye.
No, but he makes a point though. Isn't that true? Because they don't have they play one less game either way. So is there an exception there? Because they don't have a conference championship.
I don't know. I mean, I think theoretically they could. Like if a 12-0 Notre Dame, then I think they could be the number 1. But obviously that's not going to happen.
Hopefully not for a while or ever. Yeah. And he makes a good point too. Franklin is owed $54 million, and maybe that sort of foreshadows a little bit. If Lincoln Riley has a 7-5 season, he has a big contract too, and a lot of these coaches have
a lot bigger.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the specifics of that because it's sort of a nightmare considering USC's deficit and the recruits he has.
No, they can't fire him. They can't fire him. They just can't.
Nope, you can't fire him. And
I'm probably my first reaction if they lose to Michigan will be fire Riley. And they can't do that. They just can't.
No, you lose quite literally everybody.
You lose everything, and then you go into a year next year where you play Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana, and Washington.
I will say, like, this is a big rabbit hole, and I know we're going over here, but
we're going way down.
Something to think about is like, what if like years down the line, like USC had a more defensive head coach, like a Danton Lynn? Like, how would that change sort of? Because USC consistently is a good offensive team, like no matter who the coach is. I know Lincoln Riley's like deemed the offensive mastermind, but they still had like Darnold before him. They still had, like,
I just think there's certain programs that are hardwired certain ways. Obviously, Iowa, because Kirk Ferentz has been there, 25 years, they're going to be incredibly defensive, and that's just his style.
Good tight ends.
I think USC is just an offensive team. I'm trying to think of other examples of this. Notre Dame, they've always had great trenches. And maybe that changes over time because we're in the Big Ten now, but I don't really see that happening. Think about Oregon. It's only been this century that they've been relevant, but they've always also had these just dynamic offenses, even going before the DeAnthony Thomas era. They had Michael James, all sorts of those guys.
Yeah, even teams like Wisconsin have been touted for defense.
Right, yeah. And look at that. Look at it. Luke Fickell tried to make them an air raid. They suck now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do remember playing them last year and reading all about that. But yeah, shoot, is that it? We got a big game coming up.
I think that's it. USC, I believe, will win this game. I am just putting it out there. I believe USC wins this game. If not, I just don't know. I don't know, Casey. I don't know how much more we can do this.
Yeah, I don't even know like what we're going to talk about I do know what we're going to talk about.
I know what we're going to talk. We're going to have lots to talk about if they lose.
Yeah, but it's not going to be good. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But thank you guys again for listening. And Terrence, any parting words?
Please win. I need this. I haven't seen a top 25 win in 10 years. 10 years. 1 year.
Yeah, and USC actually had back-to-back because they beat Louisville. All
right, but that's going to do it for us here at USC Coliseum Chronicles Live, the voice of college football. I'm Terrence Holden. He's Casey Gasliner, and have a good one.